It is time for you to look inward and start asking yourself the big questions.
Look within yourself and ask why you have zero drip and zero
Is Avatar known as such an amazing series because it even created characters as cool as Iroh? Or is Avatar an amazing series because of Iroh? Honestly, it's somewhere in between, and Iroh, in my opinion, is the best character in the entire Avatar series, and absolutely gonna get his own No One Understands video, which is really where I put the major oomph of my analytical work into a character. Today, I'm going to be researching a slightly different area of Iroh. A character so big and so fat, he is known and felt throughout the world because not only is he goddamn inspirational, but he is overpowered and done extremely right. The reason why I'm doing this one before the No One Understands Iroh, which is where I really delve into his character and the themes and how he's probably the single most important character the entire Avatar franchise ever had, aside from, you know, the Avatar himself. But this video was specifically requested in the comments of my Avatar Overpowered analysis video, so we're doing an Overpowered analysis on Iroh too. A lot of people don't like talking about the overpowered characters. I am not afraid to take that bullet, baby. I love overpowered characters. I think everyone in their heart of hearts loves a good overpowered character, but the issue is so many of them are done wrong, and I am gonna go and say something really, really badass right now. You ready? You ready? There is no overpowered mentor character in the history of anything I've ever seen done as well as Iroh. And I'm gonna give you the most basic example as to why. You have this overpowered mentor guy, okay? All right. So he's overpowered and stuff. Why doesn't he just solve all the issues in the world? Why do we need to leave it to our probably prepubescent main character to take on all the dangers in the universe, and the mentor guy, who's incredibly powerful and known and revered for his power and might, that dude never actually does anything. No, it is not his destiny to save the planet, because then he would be the main character. So he just remains the mentor guy, kind of on the sidelines, and it's up to the main character to, you know, actually win all the fights and battles throughout the series. For some reason or another, the story in question always has to shaft the mentor character so that the main character could be the one in the limelight at all times. So Avatar decided, well, I don't want to shaft this guy too hard. I don't want to make a mentor character that's just somehow always just not around for the major fights, not able to help the main character. So why don't we make him the mentor of the antagonist? It was really when I realized this that I was like, oh damn, Avatar is like ahead of its time. How often do you actually have an antagonist to a series where he has the super mega ultra inspiring mentor character? I do think Zuko has probably the best written character arc in Avatar, and he has character development the likes of which I don't think I've almost ever seen ever. I can only think of like a handful of characters up there with Zuko in regards to how good their character arcs actually were. And of course, Iroh played a massive role into that, being the loving dude, the kind dude, the sweet dude, and the dude that inevitably disappointed more than anyone else. Whenever Iroh's actually in a fight, he's in a fight where he's up against throngs of enemies. When he's pissed at Commander Zhao at the end of the first season, he takes out Zhao's entire elite guard while Zhao runs away so that someone else can actually have the final battle against Zhao. In season 2, towards the end, when they're outnumbered by the Dai Li to some crazy tremendous degree, he simply says, "Do you know why I am called the Dragon of the West?" and then proceeds to blast the bejesus out of a dozen of them in order to facilitate his and Zuko's escape. He then breaks back in and holds off basically an entire army of Dai Li and firebenders to help the Avatar and Katara escape. He's always thrown in predicaments where one man never stood a chance. But ironically enough, in a world, especially a fantasy world, where you have, let's say, a young protagonist, and your young protagonist is venturing throughout the world, and you are experiencing the beauties of this world through the eyes of that protagonist, the mentor character, more often than not, is the one that's going to explain to you all of these things. Things about the different elements, stuff about spirits, things about nature, crazy political dynamics and all that. But a lot of the flavor that we get in this world are things that we see Iroh, the mentor character, teaching Zuko instead. By the fact that Iroh explained to Zuko how to redirect lightning, first he went through this entire speech about how all the different elements are all cool, but they're all connected and everyone could learn things from studying other styles, etc. So much of the flavor that we take away from the Avatar world building is the mentor character, but the mentor of the antagonist instead of a mentor of the protagonist, thereby completely nullifying the blatant issue in so many mentor characters that why didn't they just deal with it? Dog, there's no reason why. In every single Harry Potter book, okay, Harry's the guy that that needs to take down the bad guy. Why in book 1 did it fall onto the lap of an 11-year-old kid to be the guy to go up against the defense against the dark arts dude? You got freaking Dumbledore. Oh, the Chamber of Secrets? Yeah, Harry's the one that figured that one out, so ended up in that massive fight against the Basilisk. Dumbledore, he was busy with stuff. He just didn't figure it out himself. And so on and so forth. I mentioned Harry Potter because it's incredibly famous, and it's an analogy that I think everyone could get. I still remember so vividly how at the end of the Chunin exams and the village in Naruto was like all destroyed and stuff, there were ninjas crawling all over the place. It was difficult, and they needed to rebuild, so they had a ton of missions, so none of the decent ninjas were actually useful. So when Sasuke eventually gets captured and is getting taken to Orochimaru, they gather a force of children to save him. Bro, really? Every other ninja in the entire city is busy rebuilding the village or doing some crappy mission, saving cats and stuff, and this incredibly important thing where not only do one of their own ninjas get captured, but it potentially gives immortality to a terrorist pedophile. And they're like, ah yes, Shikamaru, child, you 12-year-old boy, gather another bunch of 12-year-olds and chase him. Don't even get me started on examples of like Jujutsu Kaisen. Now, I think Gojo is an overpowered character done right as a complete vacuum exception to this rule for millions of other reasons, okay? He is the anti-Iroh. As far as mentor characters, he has the complete opposite role of someone like Iroh. But if you think about it, notwithstanding the fact that Gojo himself is a fantastic character that might get his very own edition of overpowered done right, do you realize half of Jujutsu Kaisen is all about, okay guys, listen, this is the plan. We'll just hold him off and stall him and try to survive for as long as possible until Gojo comes up and single-handedly whoops all of them. Gojo wins every single fight in the series. No manga spoilers. He's the complete opposite when it comes to mentor characters. Instead of, the actual battle plan of any single fight being, okay, the plan is we will fight and we will win. No. If the plan is we will fight and we will stall until Gojo comes up and wins. It's like, I respect the grind, but if they wouldn't do that, the question would be, why don't they do that? Why would they risk taking losses in a fight if you could just stall until Gojo shows up? It's the right move. He wins all the fights. It still peeves me when there's the overpowered character that's part of the group that's just not there for whatever reason, but he could be there. It's very difficult to toe the line of being an overpowered mentor-like character and not completely steamrolling everyone and not being in a position where he should have just gone there and steamrolled everyone. I think one of the coolest scenes in the entire Avatar series is in that one Spirit Realm episode where their forest was wiped out and Aang is talking to the forest spirit and all that, and he meets old Avatar Roku's dragon, which flies him around. He's floating around, he's flying around, he's trying to get their attention, and it doesn't work because he is in a spirit realm. He's in a completely parallel dimension that cannot at all be impacted by what goes on in the real world, right? He's on this dragon, he's flying around in the spirit realm, everything's going cool and it's hunky-dory, no one can see him except for Iroh. He flies over Iroh's head in the dragon, and Iroh looks at him and the dragon flying above his head. He noticed this spiritual thing that happened. This is when you realize, oh my god, this old dude spouting proverbs, this guy is insane. He's become so in tune with himself and so in tune with nature. He broke through to a spiritual dimension that would be completely unattainable for any normal dude. This was early in the first season, pretty much before you even see him fight. And you're like, oh my god, who is this old man? That is such beautiful foreshadowing to the end of the first season where Admiral Zhang tries to destroy the moon spirit to become stronger than the waterbenders, and he's like, no. If you hurt the moon spirit, I will do whatever you do to that spirit tenfold. He understands the balance of the world on a degree that most other characters can't even begin to fathom. He's a character that's overpowered, that's respected by the story itself, that he accomplishes enough things and that he's impactful to enough people, that has perfect foreshadowing to kind of express to you exactly how special this individual is, and he doesn't take away from the limelight of any of the characters despite being there to give the guiding hand to the characters and to the viewers in our understanding of the world itself. You seldom find an overpowered mentor character to be this impactful to the actual story without delegitimizing any of the accomplishments of the main cast. Such a well-written, well-crafted character, so beautifully important to every single season of the show. His actual character arc makes sense, from fire general dude to someone who loses his son in war to someone who starts to want to see peace and someone who starts to preach about love. There's a reason why General Iroh, the Dragon of the West, is respected and revered in the eyes of the entire fandom, the likes of which almost no other intellectual property or character has ever been. He's not just a mentor to the antagonists, he's a mentor to the protagonists several times as well, giving good advice to Toph when she left the group, and giving good advice to Aang when they worked together to rescue Zuko and Katara. But most importantly, this man gave good life advice to us. He's a mentor character, he's overpowered, and he's mentored every conceivable moving part when it comes to Avatar. He mentored Zuko, he mentored Aang, and he mentored every fan of the series. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you want the full overpowered analysis on other characters in the series, because there's a lot of broken characters when it comes to this series, definitely let me know, and definitely subscribe for future editions. If you want that no one understands video on Iroh, talking about his philosophy and how he ties into the themes of all the characters and stuff, definitely let me know about that one as well. That was one of the major reasons why I went back to revisit Avatar for all you guys. In case you're unaware, I'm actually rewatching all of Avatar so I could get you the best content that I could get you. I love making these type of videos.
And I have to edit them, which I hate.
It's a lot of fun for me, and I do like reviving old series from the dead. Subscribe, leave a like, I'll check you out next time. Send this video to your friends, and it's time to look inward and start asking yourself the big questions. Is the next video you're gonna watch my overpowered analysis on Toph? Or is the next video you're gonna watch my overpowered analysis on the Avatar itself? Whichever one it is, stay weird, fam.